All right, boys and girls, I'm going to try and do the fastest review of the Battle of Gettysburg that we talked about on Friday so that you can watch probably the best all-time movie ever made on the Battle of Gettysburg. So there were only two major battles fought in the North. One was the Battle of Antietam, which we'll talk about later. The other, the Battle of Gettysburg. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about those 3 days of battle, July 1st, July 2nd, July 3rd. Up until this point in the war, Union has never won a battle. The Battle of Gettysburg will be the first Union victory that will take place right in the middle of the war and will be a turning point for the Union. This is a battle between the Union and the Confederate. Union go into this battle with 95,000 men versus only 75,000 men for the Confederate Army, the Army of the Northern Virginia. However, the Confederate Army is led by General Robert E. Lee, a man who has never lost a single battle that he has led his men into. On the flip side, General George Meade never led a single battle. He just took over the Union Army just 3 days before this Battle of Gettysburg takes place. Robert E. Lee, definitely the better, more experienced battlefield commander. Unfortunately for Robert E. Lee, he wins because he knows how to plan a battle. The Battle of Gettysburg is a battle neither general has planned. So why Gettysburg? All roads in the area lead to Gettysburg. In fact, we on our bus will be on one of these 10 roads that will lead to Gettysburg. And if you take a look, there is a mountainside right here that you might wonder, how can so many thousands of soldiers not know that the other group is nearby? And that's because of that mountain. The Union men are coming up Baltimore Pike through Gettysburg, while the Confederates are coming up to the west of the mountain, and you can see with a mountain in between them, they don't know their enemy is close. So on day one, the two sides collide. About 30,000 Confederate meet 20,000 Union by surprise. And on day one, July 1st, to the northwest of the town of Gettysburg, these two groups start to fight. Now, because the Confederates outnumber the Union, the Confederates after day one are kind of beating the Union here, and they force the Union to retreat. And they retreat right down through the town of Gettysburg. Literally tens of thousands of soldiers are shooting at one another as they pass by homes and buildings. And they get through the town of Gettysburg. And the Confederates don't know if the Union are going to continue to retreat or not, but instead the Union take over the best high ground in the area south of the town of Gettysburg, high ground called Cemetery Ridge. And now Robert E. Lee says to General Ewell, his general, he says, you need to keep attacking the Union, you're winning. But General Ewell knows that his men are suffering, his men are wounded, and they do not have it in them to continue to fight. So instead of attacking the Union on Cemetery Ridge, the Confederates instead take up their own high ground about a mile away on a place called Seminary Ridge. Now remember, a seminary is a religious school, so that's where this religious school is located. And these two high grounds are about a mile apart. And so overnight, going from day one to day two, both sides get reinforcements. Tens of thousands more Union soldiers arrive, and they put themselves on top of Cemetery Ridge from the top of this fishhook shape all the way down to the bottom, and tens of thousands of Confederate soldiers come as reinforcements overnight. And that's going to bring us into day two. The goal of the Union, keep the high ground. The goal of the Confederates, take the high ground. And so Robert E. Lee comes up with a plan. He is going to attack the two ends of the Union line. The top end is called Culp's Hill to the north, and the bottom end is called Little Round Top to the south. And so Robert E. Lee orders his generals, General Ewell and General Longstreet, to attack the Union flanks. Flanks are the ends of the Union line. And all day long, that is the goal. And after the second day, July 2nd, the Union does not give up the high ground. They defend the high ground. But day two turns out to have the most casualties of all 3 days of battle, with 20,000 casualties on day two, making it a total of 35,000 casualties for the first 2 days altogether. Attacking the Union ends did not work, so day three, Robert E. Lee decides to try and break the Union line right down the middle with a 3-part plan. First part is to attack with cannons and weaken the Union line. Second part is to send 5,000 cavalry on horses around the rear of the Union line, led by General Jeb Stuart. And then part 3 is Pickett's charge that you guys have heard of, where 15,000 men will try and charge right through the middle and cut that Union line in half. Unfortunately, this plan did not work. The artillery cannons fired too far, not weakening the Union line. Part 2, when Jeb Stuart and his 5,000 men go to cut the Union line from the back, they are met by 500 Union cavalry led by General George Armstrong Custer. And who knows how he does it, even though he's outnumbered 10-1, he is able to push Jeb Stuart and the cavalry away. So the Confederate cavalry never cut through the Union line to the back. And then, of course, the part Pickett's charge. 15,000 men are marching towards Cemetery Ridge, being hit by Union artillery and cannon fire. When they get to this point right here, they hit this obstacle, a fence, and it is when they are here that the Union bullets from their guns at Cemetery Ridge can now hit their target. And yet some Confederates actually manage to make it past this obstacle, and some actually make it to Cemetery Ridge. But after some hand-to-hand fighting, the Confederates are forced to retreat, and Pickett's charge becomes a failure. Total casualties after 3 days, 51,000 Americans from both sides are killed. 10,000 of those Americans lay dead in the fields of Gettysburg. On July 4th, the day after the battle ends, Robert E. Lee and his men retreat back to Virginia, never to invade the North again. And the Battle of Gettysburg becomes one of the most important Union victories of the entire Civil War. You are now going to watch probably the best movie that summarizes the 3 days, the Battle of Gettysburg. Please enjoy, and also listen for answers to questions you will have on the worksheet to see if you can figure out those answers as you're watching the movie. Enjoy.